I come from Croatia, as you know, by way of The Hague. My translator is my wife, but she doesn't want to take credit, so obviously she's not here, so if something goes wrong, it's all my fault, all right? The first poem I'm going to read is called On the Train to Cascais. As you know, a little bit of intro, we all have books, I believe we all have books that we carry around our whole life, never being able to read them through. Well, mine is Wittgenstein's biography by Ray Monk. I got stuck on the page, I think 207, when Ludwig goes to that cabin in Norway in the snow to sort things out in his head. As we know, we never sort things out in our head, to the very end. Okay, On the Train to Cascais. This is Portugal. On the train to Cascais, you saw the most beautiful girl, with olive skin and round breasts, just like Ornella Mutis, wearing t-shirt by Dolce & Gabbana, poised like Saint Teresa of Avila, contemplating that spear about to pierce her chest, etc. She must have been put off by the Wittgenstein biography in your hands, for she suddenly sprung up and exited in Estoril, as you continued to Cascais with the sad realization that you just missed the woman of your life, or somebody else's. An Atlantean as beautiful as the body of her slippery language, juicy and rustling like the samba you heard that summer on the lake of Bohinj when you were 18. So what choice did you have but to continue reading that damn book, bitter in the knowledge that the limits of your language are indeed the limits of your world? That is the case, much like this one, whereof you wouldn't want to be silent, not even in death. Another piece is dedicated to my father, who was for years the card-carrying member of the Communist Party, but to make things worse, he really believed in it, But things turned different direction, and now he is running a small bed and breakfast on the coast. And he turned. I said, "What happened, man? You were a working class hero, now you're an entrepreneur, He said, "Look at yourself. You're working in The Hague." Shut me up, Okay, let's to the Scaffold. It's also a nod to the famous movie by Louis Malle with Jean Moreau and Lino Ventura, and the wonderful music by one of my all-time heroes, Miles Davis. Lift to the Scaffold. Steel rope pulls him up high, squeezed like a herring in a tin can. He is silent, serious and tough, like Lino Ventura, as he once again reads the carved slanted letters, Jules the Fool, that follow him daily on his journey of ascension from the ground floor supermarket to the dented spot on the flimsy couch high above. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, this thought appears, how the last time he bought cufflinks was that one time in the last century, before that business trip to Bratislava, cancelled at the very last moment because the Russians had in the meantime invaded Czechoslovakia. Having come to terms with that, his heart sinks down to his boots, tolling along all the way, invoking that hammer towards the end of Mahler's Sixth that maestro wanted to resound as powerfully as an axe. And then the elevator stops, and he finds himself alone in that galaxy-dark, vacuum-like space, shaft up, shaft down, check this one out, mate. So that's that. There's no more. It seems now that he wasted all those years struggling in vain. Was life just a joke that only the devil may have cared about? And then, as Bob Dylan said, I started out with Burgundy and then I hit the harder stuff. I stole this intro from a friend of mine, a lesser known but great American poet, Gregory Orr. It's called, in any case, as we know, poets here have buddies, so in my line of duty, I was appointed a buddy of one of the war criminals, I mean, it is a weird thing, I tell you. It's like signing a pact with the devil, So this guy killed a lot of people. It's no fun. I mean, if anyone tells you that Srebrenica was like, it didn't happen really the way, it was 10 times worse, believe me, as the old hippie. So, I mean, the old hippie even still said, teach your children well, so they should know. So this is a story about me and a Dutch policeman going to visit that guy. He was somewhere in a confidential location. In any case, while driving to meet the man who in one day, single-handedly, between 9 and 5, a typical working day for an average clerk at Lloyd's TSB Bank headquarters on London's Gresham Street, with bursts of gunfire executed several hundred civilians, the man at the wheel tells me about his trip through Indonesia and how in Bali he ventured into the wilderness with no guide, all by himself. Have you ever held a snake in your hands? Anaconda, cobra, common adder, taipan, rattlesnake, water moccasin, or maybe a Spanish viper. They're so cold, those reptiles, so wiry and slippery when you hold them in your hands. but you should try it nevertheless. A life unexamined is not worth living, as the blogger Socrates correctly pointed out, in any case. And one more, and Steve, is that okay?
Yeah, that's
I'm
fine.
watching you. All right. This one, Durruti 1936, I'm still admiring the people from the, Spanish Liberation War who fought in the international brigades, and the anarchists and everyone who fought against Franco and all of these, all the good old lefties, because today we live in weird times, like Slavoj Žižek said, we can picture the end of the world, but not the end of the capitalism. I think we have to ask ourselves some serious questions, This is called Durruti 1936, and it's also a nod to a wonderful musician from Manchester, Vinnie Riley, who's got a band, Durruti Column, for years, but apparently nobody listens to him. Durruti 1936, hooligan hero, anarchist leader, son of a railroad worker, a guerrilla with the eyes of a child and the face of a savage, proletarian propagandist Buenaventura Durruti insisted most of all on the clarity of expression. When he had the floor, everybody understood. Emma Goldman said that she found him a veritable beehive of activity, and he was allegedly always in a good mood. Durruti's column was built on self-sacrifice and libertarian spirit. His funeral magnificently draped all of Barcelona in black and red. A glorious crowd of 500,000 poured down Via Laietana, just like that. Even the Russian consul was deeply moved at the sight of all those people with fists in the air who swore in that anarchists who believe that only generals rule by force and that discipline always comes like a spout of enlightenment exclusively from within. Thank you very much.